men were standing backstage at the Grand Ole Opry 1956. Then here walks this man, comes right up to me and says,
I want to meet you. I'm Johnny Cash.
Oh, I know who you are. Elvis tunes his guitar to one of your songs.
I want to marry you someday.
The show is about June Carter Cash, a country icon. She's mostly known as Johnny Cash's wife, and she had a full career, life, history before meeting Johnny, and it's all about the time before him. It's also about me. It became really apparent when I was researching the story of June that I had to be in it too. There were so many connections in being a mum, juggling sort of the career with kids. I performed as June in a tribute band for about 14 years, and that's how I kind of got into her. I wondered who she was, and I had a book. I bought a book when I started singing with the band from a charity shop that June had written, and it sat in a box for years, and I opened the book and it was signed. June had signed it, and that sort of started my journey. She's been performing for 63 years. She wrote Ring of Fire, which a lot of people don't know, and Johnny was her third husband. There was so much to June's career and who she was that we just don't know about because she's overshadowed by Johnny Cash.
I wrote this song about falling in love with Johnny Cash. This is Ring of Fire.
I actually didn't approach Cora in terms of going, this is my idea and I'd love you to direct. I wasn't even there yet. So
Yeah, it was nothing as formal as that. We were friends, we were hanging out together with our kids, and we were just kind of brainstorming ideas. I knew that Charlene was hungry to write, to create her own work. It was her story to tell, you know, no one else had shown that interest and that passion and kind of looking behind the glitz of Johnny and June and going, who's this woman? Who is actually this woman? What's her journey? And I just really encouraged Charlene to write it herself, and she you know, took that ball and ran with it.
So, I think with a band, working at care home, that's life. An actor.
I hadn't written anything before, you know, it's not something that I've even practiced, or, you know, I don't write as a hobby. It really was new and terrifying, to be honest. And I started off just how I do as an actor when I'm playing a role. I looked into everything about the person, who June was, where she started, and I started to really dig and connect with people in Nashville. It was more as I uncovered things about June and I interviewed people about June, it sort of opened me up and I talked a lot about myself, and it wasn't until I came back and listened to all the interviews that I could hear my growth. And I sort of really found myself at the end of it, because I thought, well, I am also persevering and I'm also a mum and I'm also doing all the things that she did. And it's bizarre because to think of this country icon and me, who was a wee lassie from Cumbernauld, and the connections, they're not obvious.
June was born in the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia, a place called Mace's Spring. Her family formed a band, a trio called the Original Carter Family. They didn't just play country music, they helped popularise it.
It's very inspired by Charlene's experience in the Bluebird Cafe, a place in Nashville, which was a place where lots of people play live music. It's a very intimate atmosphere. You're in a kind of cabaret cafe style, but with a real twist. It sort of feels like a little underground venue, but it also feels like the workings of inside Charlene's mind. It's kind of domestic details that are also magical. All the tables light up in different ways, and there's things that look ordinary, like a washing machine inside a table, becomes something else very transformative when you're least expecting it. So I think the show really, as a big broad theme, really celebrates the job of being a mum and running a house and managing the intricacies of living with children and trying to be a really good mum, as well as the job of being a performer and the intricacies of living in the industry and trying to be a good artist. It's kind of both those things are woven and clashing and smashing up against each other in a very funny way sometimes. And that's the reality of Charlene's life and June's life.
June did this hillbilly act. And because she's so good at it, people think it's her. She goes through these radio stations of men as this cartoon character. She's got to be turned on all the time.
We've got the full run at the Fringe, and then we go on tour for a month around Scotland. Because at the Fringe, it is a theatrical experience. People know what you're getting at the Fringe. There's loads of shows, you know, and it's a celebration of theatre. So that I wanted to open here because it was my first play, and I've been in the industry since I graduated, so it was really important. But now when I go on tour, after that, I get to go into towns and country halls, and I get to take my show into their world and their place and be invited into there, and I think it'll have a different feel, and I'm excited about that just as much.
Being at home with the kids all day, you sort of, I don't know, lose confidence out in the real world. But the Carter woman said, if a song is in you, you've got to let it